everybody for the final day here at the Playground Poker Club. The time is upon us. It is the final 6 of the Millions North America. At long last, today we will play it down to our champion. 521 players begun. Now it is the 6 left to battle out, and Danik, who was a chip leader for a fair amount of yesterday, is now the shortest stack with 23 bigs. Alex with 29. Then a big jump. The other guys here, obviously, you can see. Here we go then. This is how the payouts look going forward. Everyone guaranteed that 250,000. But 5th, 300. 4th, 370. 3rd, a smidge under 475k. Our runner-up will walk out of here with $650,000. But the champion picks up a cool million in the Millions main event. Cool. Under the gun. Raising up ace jack.
We just won the 5 second.
Both players check 3, 4, 6, 2 hearts. Pulls ace jack still out in front.
No.
Alex checks. Paul hasn't checked just yet. 5 on the river, very bad card for Paul, and a much better card for Alex's range from the big blind. And definitely fire out a bet here. He's up against a lot of no pair hands as it is anyway, and even some of those weak pair hands he might have are going to struggle to call on this river card. And he has just 9 high. Pretty good candidate for the bluff. 4 into 8 gets the job done. Probably more room for this man though. Yanni with the queens. Just under 100 million in chips. Uh-oh for Yanni. Francois finds kings in the next seat. And remember, an orbit ago, the same action took place. Yanni raising a 3. Francois 3-bet to 8.8 with kings. And now just flats. Does have the 2 shortest stacks behind. Maybe hoping for a 3-bet squeeze. Maybe thinking it just 3-bet just looks too strong. Problem is here, if you're Francois, you're going to want to pressure Yanni as you cover him. If you're going to pressure him, you need to have the big hands in there when you do 3-bet him as well. Especially when you've already 3-bet following him once. I feel like the dynamics sort of established, and you just got to go for it. Well, let's see what happens. Danik flats from the big 8-6 offsuit. Flop comes 10-3-4, 2 hearts. Every player in this pot has a heart, so Francois, of course, has the flush draw covered. $4 million the bet from Joni into 11. Francois just with a call. Danik's going to make way. 10 of hearts. Really the worst card on the deck in terms of action here. Flush draw completes top card pairing. Francois bets 6 million when checked to. Yanni, of course, will be calling this one. $30 million chip pot, but oh my, how big it could have been. 8 on the river. Yanni checks. Francois sizing up the value bet. Interesting, trying to construct a range for Yanni here. It does have hands like the one he has, queens, jacks, perhaps 9s. Does have some 10x, does have some flushes. Has a lot of ace high with the ace of hearts. 22.5 from Francois. Just trying to work out what bluffs Francois can have. Ace 5 suited, ace deuce suited perhaps, and look at this. Wow, Francois winning the absolute minimum with kings. And I think that value bet probably a little bit too large, given he does have strong value range the way that hand played. Just going to raise it up. More playable hand pre, and of course blocks with the other players having strong hands with ace jack. Francois queen 4 of diamonds in the big blind. The raise a little bit more than min. 1.6 blind. 3.5 the raise. Francois should peel this one. Wow, Alex flopping an ace on ace queen queen, but Francois finding 3 queens. Alex, remember, opened under the gun. This is a flop he's going to bet a very high frequency. I'm going to go 1/3 pot, 3 million the bet. Well, a king, a pretty bad card in that sense. Alex's jack kicker has been nullified. Problem from his now is he has less bluffs. Hand like jack 10, obviously now straight. King jack and king 10, well, they pretty much bluffed anyway, but they've improved. 11 million bet. Maybe thinking he's calling for a chop, or he's beat. And that is a great fold. That is a really good fold. Helped, of course, by that king on the turn. Probably the worst card in the deck for Alex to see. Given under the gun. Queen jack. He's raising up into Danik in the big. On the short stack. He looks at ace 8. Danik dropping below 10 blinds. Queen 8-5. This could be the end of him here. Does have the ace of clubs. Second pair top kicker against top pair. Kevin, I'm sure, going to see bet this board. And when he does, I think Danik's just going to have to jam to protect his hand. Kevin gone for 1.5 blinds. You see, Danik's jam would be around a pot size raise. He is going just for the call. Does have an over. Well, that's a great card from Danik's point of view. Deuce can't have helped Kevin. There we go. His bluffs are going to be some club draws, some straight draws. And so he's going to move in with top pair. And Danik, I don't think, can fold here with an 8. Kevin rooting for a call. These other players probably want a call, gives them a chance of a bust out. He does make the call, and I think it's a good call, but just not in this instance. He needs an ace or 8 on the river, or Danik's day will be short-lived here at the Playground Poker Club. His fate in this tournament rests on this final card. 3 of clubs, not enough. Well, Danik showed a lot of fight during the last 2 tables yesterday and the start of the final table, but it's he who follows Ben to the payout window, finishing in 6th, picking up $250,000. Alex now by far and away the shortest stack on 17 bigs, nearly a third of the chips that the man in 4th has. That's Paul Fontaine. He has 47 bigs. Yoni just ahead of him. Those two now really have to play snug with Alex so far behind them.
Yeah, we did too. Good fold. Nice.
Here we go. Kevin just putting the pressure on Paul. He's going to call with ace-10 though, of course. And you heard Yanni and Francois talking there. It was half an hour ago, that Kings versus Queens hand, that Yanni's just found out he did make a good fold, and well, Francois found out he's made a bad value bet because the next down hand folded. So you know someone's owned you if you value bet and they fold the next best hand. Paul calls and flops top pair on ace-jack 4, has the backdoor diamonds covered. This is a good flop for him. Kevin with 8-3 and the pre-flop lead. Has the 8 diamonds and has a 3, so he's going to have to barrel this one.
Good flop though. Good flop.
Well, Francois definitely would have got a lot more action if he 3-bet pre.
Yeah.
Paul check calls ace-jack 4. Turn pairs the 4, kind of a relevant card. I think either player ever has a 4 here. Paul, I expect, will check this one. Again, has to be cagey against Kevin. He is going to cut out a value bet. This is hard for Kevin to bluff him on this board. Try and get a crying caller for Jack. Does have missed flush draws himself, does Paul. Some of those broadways perhaps. At Millions Vegas in Aria at the end of June. Francois raising the cutoff. Kevin defends 10-8 in the big. 6-6-3. Kevin checks. Francois may just check this one back. Kevin can play a lot of hands very aggressively against Francois' stack. And let's see what happens here as Kevin turns a straight draw. 2 spades, 2 hearts. He's gone small, 2.8 into what, 8.8. Does open up the number of hands he's value betting a bit, but also allows hands like this to call. Just the no pair, no draw, king highs. So I like this bet if it's followed up by another. Jack of spades on the end. Does have some missed draws like the one he has. But again, that turn bet kept a lot of these super weak hands in. And I like it, 4.2, giving himself a great price on the bluff. Try and knock out exactly these kind of hands. And can definitely still have a hand like a 7 with this sizing. There we go, he is going to run a bluff. And well, I like the bet from Kevin, and I love this bet from Francois. 20.6. And well, Kevin, of course, with 10 high is going to give up, but that's been a very tough spot with his 7 X and perhaps any Jack X he might have had. Even some of those 6s are going to be hating life there. Kevin limping the small. Yoni checking his option with 6-3 suited in the big. Pretty standard so far. Kevin has been putting a bit of pressure on from the small, but can't do it every hand. And Kevin flopping straight on 10-9-7. Yoni, gut shot for the chop and the flush draw. It's definitely one we can see some action on. Expect Kevin to come out betting here. Straight's kind of the best hands to flop as you don't block any pairs. Well, he's gone 1 blind, 1/3 the pot. Eight on the turn. Wow, suddenly Kevin drawing just for the chop. His straight somewhat nullified. Kevin is going to bet again. Certainly get value from worse. Need some protection against flush draws. And Yoni, which is the clear call, holding the bottom straight and the flush draw. 9 on the river. Not a card either that's going to be wild about. Kevin does check. And I'm not surprised to see him check that one back. It's a chop. Now Paul in the small. King for offsuit. Kevin, King 10 off in the big. So he's happy to check it back. Queen 6-6, 2 diamonds the flop. Paul checks. Expect Kevin to check this back as well. Both king highs looking very strong on this board.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, sure.
I think you're like favorite.
Yeah, oh yeah?
I think Canada is like their.
It's Finland against Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Final.
Yeah, you have to bet.
I'll check you
But
out.
you
Talking
don't
about
have
the Ice Hockey World Championship final about to get underway.
But yeah, I can give you 100.
Finland versus Canada. That's how Joni and Francois are sizing up today. 10 on the river. Kevin now with a very strong hand. Fire out a bet here. Oh, he's sizing up a bit bigger. 3.5. This
Minus
is
186?
going to really get called by ace high and king high.
Those odds work.
What's that?
I don't know how those odds work.
Pool does make that call. Kevin up to 180. Pool below 80, and you hear there the players are going on their first break of the day.
Hold.
Yanni from the cutoff, raising ace 4 offsuit, 4.5 minutes to play. Pool in the big, 10, 7 of diamonds.
Top.
Pool flipping the bottom pair, backdoor straight door, backdoor flush for Joni with just ace high. Goes check, check. Ace of diamonds on the turn. Pool with a flush draw, Joni with top pair.
Bet. 4
He
million.
has a lot of ace-x having check back this flop. He's going to bet here with a wide range.
You have a call?
Diamond on the end. Pool improves to the flush.
Check.
Checks it once more. Doesn't have a huge amount of them.
Check.
Yanni does check back.
You have
Well,
flush.
I think you can bet that river.
Ace high flush.
Yanni is going to give up 10-5 off from the big. These two to play this pot.
Kanyemi is not playing? Kanyemi is not playing?
I don't think so. There's still 0 NHL player in my channel. So.
Wow, Paul just stab at it or just bet himself. Obviously, Paul has hands like this that are nearly drawing dead.
Power play.
$4.5 million.
Paul has thrown a little bet out there, 4.5. Trying to make Alex fold some of those ace highs. I like this line, keep in the bluffs.
Heads up, 2 players.
5 pairing up on the turn. Paul's going to have to give this one up now.
Check.
Six on the river. Neither player improves. Has some ace highs got the river with here.
Check.
Some hands like 8s or 9s, 7s, 10s on the turn, but he does check back.
Ace high.
Laggy flop for me.
Queen 10 clubs on the button. Francois in the small, and then of course Alex in the big blind. Alex now up to 25 bigs, got to see the couple of little hands.
Check. 3 players.
Three-way. Queen 9 deuce. Yanni top pair, backdoor flush runs, and backdoor straight action. Francois with top pair as well. Surely we'll bet this one. He's limping.
Bet.
Again, those middling Broadway cards. Big part of that limping range.
Call. Fold. Check.
Turn.
Bet.
Yanni gonna bet again. 9 million.
9 million.
Francois has to call again here. So many of those bluffs that Yanni bet on the flop would have picked up more equity here. It's like 10-8. He had a gut shot draw that now picks up spades.
Call.
Does. Cool. 32 million chip pot. 9 of spades on the river. That's going to see this one go check, check.
Check. Check. Showdown.
Yanni back to 100 million chips.
2 pairs, queens, and 9s with a 10 kicker.
Yanni under the gun. 4.5. Kevin 10-6 in the big blind. He's gonna peel off the chip lead. 6, 7, 8, 2 diamonds. Kevin with bottom pair and a gutter. 9 gives him the 10 high straight. Yanni with an overpair and a diamond. Alright, Kevin with a lead on a flop that Yanni is gonna check back a lot. We saw him do this earlier on 8-4-3 all diamonds with Jack 4.
Raise. 10 million.
Wow, Yanni going the other way. Been playing cagey poker hand after hand. Now decides to raise this flop against that flop lead. Oh, he does. Alright, things changing up here on the final table. These guys have been playing tiny pot poker. Now all of a sudden we have 32 million in there. Pair against pair on 6, 7, 8. Turn 5. A9 now is straight. This is definitely a bad card for Yanni to see. Kevin may well have had a hand like a pair and an open rather than a pair and a gut shot. 7-9. Would have overtaken one pair of jacks. And it does check through. 9 on the end. Well, it is a diamond though. Board runs out a straight. Kevin has the top end. There are diamonds on board. Not quite sure how many diamond combos Yanni raised the flop with. Most likely be one that includes a 9 of diamonds, I would assume.
Okay.
And Kevin checks. Yanni does have the jack of diamonds. Is he going to try and bluff Kevin off what he perceives to be a split pot? He does check it back. Kevin's going to win it. Kevin finds ace-king in the small. This is going to be a 3-bet, of course. We saw him make it 18 million before with small against button. This time he's facing an under the gun open and a button flat. And it goes slightly larger. I like it, 20 million. 5x. And Yanni finds ace-queen in the big blind. Wow. Maybe now is the time for Yanni to strike, he might think. He does move all in. That's the correct play. Kevin.
What's the rough total? 74.
Kevin's going to make the call and Yanni's going to get the bad news. He is in bad shape. His ace-queen running into the chip leader's ace-king for the largest pot of the tournament thus far. 160 million chips. Yanni in need of help. Yanni fans funking for the queen. Jack 7, 8. 7 on the turn. We have some split chances. Is Jack or 8? A queen on the end. Wow, a dagger to Kevin. Yanni now the chip leader with 160 million. Kevin down to 125. And that's right about where Francois is living. Brutal blow for Kevin. Much harder for him to have ace-X, of course. Now there's two of them out there. But those straight draws have missed. And this is definitely one of the hands now that facing a bet, Yanni I think just has to fold. A 9 with a jack is about the worst
30.
hand you can have here.
30?
30 million.
Bet 30 million. Maybe it was a large c-bet size on the flop. Followed by a turn bet and a river bet. He makes the call, and see just the opinion that Francois got some more bluffs here, maybe a hand like 7-8 as well. But I'm not sure about that one.
No, I'm just making sure he didn't scoop your.
Francois up to 200 million, the first man to cross that mark. There you go, Yanni below 50, Kevin just above. Paul with 30 bigs, Alex just sneaking down below 20 big blinds, but it is Francois Billard who's had the best of it this level, up to 109 big blinds, 218 million in chips. Double his nearest competitor, and he is currently the favourite to have his name etched up there above the word champion and pick up the $1 million that comes with that title. 3-betting, gone a slightly smaller sizing. Again, this is a factor. The fact the pool is sub 30 bigs. Kevin has position, and there is a short stack in play. Joni with ace-5 of diamonds in the small. Having a little think about it. Back to pool. 6.5 million more would be a call holding this hand. Go. So these two playing a 3-bet pot for the first time. 2x pot behind as we see the 10-7 deuce rainbow flop. Not a great flop for either player. Well, that is cruel. Jack on the turn gives Paul the better hand. Paul, I think, will do a bit of betting, a bit of checking here. Kevin's supposed to bet a lot of his overpairs on that flop. So Paul can be pretty confident that Jack's good here. And Kevin's going to have some outs. So he does bet 10 million. I like this. Kevin's going to have to call 10 million with 2 overs and a gut shot. He does let it go. Yeah. Perhaps the juice in the pool is not going to be light there. Alright, sorry guys, we're back in action here. Francois with the aces under the gun. Kevin peeling the small. Yanni from the big with Jack 9. Wow, he's gone for the check raise. Going for max value with his king. Timing off. Remember, Kevin is second in chips in this tournament. Check raising the chip leader with top pair. And Francois makes the call. 3 on the turn. Well, it's a beautiful card for Francois. Aces and 3s. Much harder for him to get outdrawn if he's ahead against hands like this and remove some of the combos he was losing to. Only one combo of 3s now as opposed to the 3 they were before that card. Kevin now does check it to Francois. 12 million the bet. Kevin check raised king 6-3. Doesn't have that many value hands when he does that, so he's going to have to proceed with this one. He has some bluffs that give up. $64.5 million pot. Francois, 96% favourite. Oh, and a queen on the river. That one's going to make this very hard for Kevin to fold. Francois can now be value betting. Has an ace king. And he's ahead of those. He's favoured the sort of half pot size bet in these situations thus far. Looks like he's going a little bigger this time. 44. Well, Kevin doesn't really have many better hands than this. Sixes, 4 quad 3s, and then king queen. Does he think Francois can bluff him here? Francois maybe peeled a hand. The check raise like 5-7 of hearts, 4-5 of hearts. And then took off down the streets, and he's going to have to call. I'll get the bad news that Francois had the aces and is now up to 299 million chips on our final table. Remember, just over 500 million in play, so he has a massive lead now. Taking the chips off the second place man. Queen on the river kind of costing him there like it did before. The queen on the river before gave Yoni Jouhkimainen the double up that sees him in second place. This time it means he has to pay off Francois Billard in first place. But look at that lead he now has. 120 bigs. Yoni second with 34. Paul, Alex and Kevin all short. Forward.
All in.
All in.
And Kevin does eventually move it in. Folds back round to Paul, who I think is going to have to call this off. He does make the call, and Kevin is at risk of elimination. The man who came into the day as the chip leader. Kevin's ace king is still the better hand. And double up he does. Pull down to just 10 big blinds. Francois, another big hand. Ace king under the gun. He's raised it up. Paul's going to jam here, of course, with his pocket jacks. Well, he's going to be a bit sick when he finds out he's in a flip. Jack should be in better shape than that. This would be a test of Paul's run good ability. Can he win a pot against Francois? That's not one of those backdoor straight draws. And he does. Paul is the one man who can beat Francois in a pot, albeit a small one. Francois queen 7 off in the big. I like it. This guy knows how to play the big stack. Raising it up. Could go a little bigger, but this would work against most of Yoni's range. Ace-8 clubs is going to call. Ace-6-7 flop. Both players make a pair. Yoni, of course, with top pair checks it to Francois. Knows Yoni isn't going to bluff him.
5,500,000.
I like it. 5.5.
Top.
Ace on the turn. Gin for Yoni.
Check.
He checks. Francois could bet here again. Hands that can call, not other 7s, 6 perhaps. All those draws deny their equity. Does decide just to check back. And a 3 in the end. Let's kick off both players.
Check.
Well, he checks again. Now Francois may well end up value betting himself here.
Bet.
Yeah, it's 17 million. That's exactly what's going to happen.
7.
Yanni back to 120.
There is 8 million.
Francois does make it 8 million. Yanni with a little bit 40 bigs behind. Oh, he avoids it. He does limp call. Gonna play some streets with Francois. And 10-10-3. This is looking pretty bad still for Yanni.
Okay.
Francois decides to check back a flop. He's gonna bet loads. I'm not wild about that one.
Okay.
Joni should be a little suspicious of that.
10 million.
10 million bet on the turn. Joni's going to have to call this with 8s. Joni does call and needs to find an 8. Well, 4 bad card for him.
Okay.
In the sense that it's another undercard. 38.5 in the pot. Francois bet big every time he's bet for value on rivers. Between half and 3/4 pot. He's done the same again here. 29 million.
9 million.
Yoni's going to let it go. Yoni has a lot of King X there he can call with. And not surprising, Yoni's made a lot of tight folds.
Are they working on fixing one of these?
King 10 deuce. Bottom 2 for Francois. Francois, I'd like to see bet 1 blind on this kind of board.
2.5.
And that's what he's done. Alex makes the call with queen high. And 8 on the turn. And this is a good spot for Alex to call on the flop. I mean, Francois has been jamming a lot from the small, so he can take out.
Check.
Now, ace on the river. Not a bad card for either player to see. It's kind of fun spot for Francois because he doesn't have many hands here, so I'd like to see a bet. And he's limped in pre.
4 million.
Bet flop, bet river. Don't think he ever bets less than a pair of kings on this river for value. So you're looking at having to have 2 pair. There we go. And I like Alex's call there. It may seem a little odd, but I do like that call.
All in.
Transfer again. Going to drop the hammer from the button. Alex won't be playing deuces from the small. Despite the fact he's short, there's no way he's calling 2s. Well, he is going to call them off. And pull with ace-jack in the big blind. Well, he'd have... Alex wins and he loses the side pot. He gets 5th. And if he wins and doubles up, then, well, this is incredible. A 3-way all in. All of a sudden, deuces versus ace-jack versus 6-7. Francois holds the 6-7 and the chip lead. The other 2 rooting hard for a 6 or 7 here, as we can suddenly skip 4-handed play and go straight to 3-handed play. Ace 10-4. Well, Alex all but out the door. Francois struggling here. Pull. Top pair. And 4 is gonna all but seal it. Just 2 outs to avoid here. Oh my word. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Deuce on the river. Alex with the triple up. Paul doubles up on the side pot. Francois down to 250 and we carry on 5-handed.
20.5.
The blinds go up to 1.5, 3 million. Paul now the shortest with 15 bigs. Alex 21, Kevin 26, Yoni 28. Francois still the only big stack here with 83 big blinds. Paul in the small blind jamming has 15 bigs with King 3.
You said it's about 45.
Kevin with Ace 9, this will be a call. Well, I Sai.
Sorry, we went through this. Do you know how much you have?
All in was 20, so must
Alright,
be 60
62,
something.
yeah.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
Call.
It is a call. Paul at risk with king 3. Kevin ace 9. Kevin with not just the better hand, but the better stack, covering Paul. Jack 5-3. Paul finds a pair. Kevin now just 6 outs, heading to the turn and river. Jack on the turn. Does give Kevin some more outs now. A 5 will give him Jacks and 5s. 10 on the end. Paul with a double up. Kevin down to 10 bigs. Oh, he is going to make the call with his pair, and Kevin, with queens in the small blind, will be straight back all in.
All in?
528.
30 with the blind.
Yeah.
Yep, 30.3 is the bet. Francois not calling this, but Paul getting 2-1 and holding a pair is going to have to call this off. He does make that call. King 10-7. And he does so. Another double up. Alex on the button this time. Ace Queen of spades. This will also be a jam. And Kevin with ace 8 in the big against a sub 13 big blind jam. This is going to be a call. He does make that call, and he's going to get the bad news that Alex has a very strong hand in ace queen suited. Three on the end. Yet another short stack double up on the final table here at the Playground Poker Club. And Kevin finds aces, wouldn't you believe it? I mean, this final is getting ridiculous. All in, and Francois has twice found a big pair against a 6 big blind jam. Ace in the window and another ace behind.
Be good enough.
That'll do it.
Oh my god.
25.
About that,
Maybe ace? Ace on the river?
Why are you rating for shit like that?
Alright, Kevin back to 15 blinds. Kevin decides that 8's just too strong, despite that. Long tank before Paul's raise. And Paul does call. So we are off for a race. Paul with 24 million back. Kevin all in once again. This time we got 110 million chip pop. 10-4-3. Paul needs one of those overs. Jack or King would give him some extra outs, as would a deuce or 5. Well, there is a deuce. Oh, an 8 on the river. Kevin is set for good measure. Back to 110 million. Pull down to 8 big blinds. And unbelievably, we are somehow still 5-handed. I'm not keeping track, but I hope someone in the chat is and can tell me how many all-ins in a row the short stack has won. Because we must be on for some sort of record here.
Consecutive all-in at risk except one.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
How many it's been here? Like 8?
It's got to be double digits by now.
Kevin asking the same question.
I think it's like 8 or 9 all-ins. No best time, right?
I've been all-in at risk like 4 times since he had deuces, so
Yeah.
at least 5.
Now a Paul Queen 7 suited. This might be enough for him to call. And here is the call. Jack 9-6. Paul falls behind. Does have a myriad of backdoor draws though, with both a 7 and a queen around the Jack 9-6, and of course backdoor hearts. Well, 10 gives him the straight draw. 3 outs become 11. King, queen, or 8 on the end, and a deuce. It happened eventually. We had to lose someone, and it is Paul who departs in 5th place.
Well played, man. Good game.
How do things look with our final four? Yanni on 16 bigs, Alex on 19, Kevin with 34, Francois over the 100 big blind mark. Francois after a count with threes. I don't see him cooling
about
off.
100, right?
I was
you
at
had 50, yeah.
110 before the blinds, probably 100 or so now. 105.
This is 40, yeah.
I mean, this situation is pretty advantageous for Francois, where he can just bully these guys. I don't think he wants to give that up on a very loose gamble. Back to the shoves. Francois 8-9 off from the button. Surely Alex is going to call it off with ace-jack in the small blind. I mean, I don't understand this. He's just given up here, really. Just had a spot to call it off there, a spot to jam with the fives. Called it off with deuces in a spot earlier where
All in?
Francois all in again. And Kevin is surely going to give him a spin and give himself a chance of winning this tournament. Francois is shoving so wide. This is just always a call for Kevin. He does cool. He only gives up 7 deuce, and Kevin's going to love to see the shape he's in here. 2 undercards for the 200.
Yeah.
By far the biggest pot in the tournament, and it's an all-in classic. Jacks versus 8-3 suited. It's the chip leader equivalent of putting the jacket on. Ace on the turn. Pay away. Kevin will double up. And there you go. Kevin with 200. Francois with 250. So 2 big stacks, 2 short stacks as we move forward. Yoni jams the small. Francois snaps the big with ace-8. Yoni with 10-5.
Yeah.
10 in the window, followed by 9-6. Gives Francois a gut shot straight draw to go with his overcard. Deuce on the turn. 9 on the river. Yanni up to 75. 2 all-ins in a row lost by Francois. And now he has doubled them all up at least once. Well, he is going to come in for the min raise. Dynamics have shifted a bit, I suppose, with Kevin and Yoni both have double up through Francois. They're going to play a bit more normal poker, should we say?
This? No.
Yeah, Kevin will defend this King 10. And for the first time in a long time, we're just going to see a regular flop. King, Queen, 5. Top pair for Kevin, gutter for Yoni. Yoni bets. Gut shot draw, backdoor flush draw, and of course a range advantage on King, Queen, 5. Kevin calls. 30 million chip pot. And well, another king on the turn. Gives Kevin trips. Check from him. Will Yoni take off? I don't see it. He hasn't done so yet today. Does check back, hoping to hit a jack, and that's exactly what he's done. He rivers the straight. Kevin with trip kings. Kevin bets 14 million, or surely we've met with an all-in here from Yoni. Well, nitty cool instead. Straight wins. I think Yoni can definitely have some bluffs there. Maybe of the opinion that Kevin wasn't going to call him off with just trip kings, so decided to just call. We still have 4 players chasing down that trophy, and well, things have got shorter and shorter. Francois was up to about 350 million in chips, but has doubled up. Kevin and Yanni since, now down to 200 million, but still the chip leader here, but only by a small margin over Kevin these days. He has the same sort of lead over Yanni, and Alex still the shortest stack and has been very gun shy. Shortest stack, 14 bigs. Crazy chip leader raising every hand.
All in?
Kevin, ace 10 of hearts, against a raise and a jam with the original raise to worry about. This is pretty tough. Obviously against a button jam, he's loving life. But if he were to rejam himself here, try and play Alex heads up, does let it go. Yoni does with King Queen as well, so a couple of real hands back there. Yoni 7.5 from the button. Francois ace 9 suited in the small. Gone are the days of the auto jam from our chip leader. Alex, wow, with ace 9 himself on the big blind. This surely is a jam. He decides just to flat. This time his cautious approach may well save him. 10-6 deuce. Yoni's ace high is the best one at these 3. Alex's peel in the big gives him some protection against Francois. Can make him fold out a lot of hands. Albeit Yoni with ace jack high is obviously good. Well, actually, look at this. He's getting Francois to call with worse. Alex will fold now. Oh, it takes a long time, but eventually folds ace 9 high in the 3-way pot. Jack on the turn, gin for Yoni. Turning top pair, top kicker. So he's weighted more towards 10s than, say, if this is a deeper situation. And that's why he's sized up a little bit bigger. 24 and a 42. Alright. Change of attack, raising it up into Yoni in the big, who looks at ace queen suited. And that's what he's going to do. He's been out flopped. King 7-5, 2 spades. It's all Kevin. Check, check on the flop. 5 on the turn. Kevin checks again. He'll only be happy to get this ace queen high to showdown, you would imagine. Ace on the river. He's going to be very happy to get a pair of aces and 5s to showdown if he can. 25.5 million in the pot. Kevin checks. And now, how much does Yoni bet? 8 million to bet. Kevin makes the crying call. Yoni overtakes him in the chip counts up to 144. Kevin in the small blind, 5-3 of clubs. Gonna limp into Yoni. He looks at queen 9. These two with the same stack. On the turn, Kevin checks. Yoni happy to check back his 9 here with a gut shot draw. King on the end completes the flopped flush draw. That's Kevin who's betting 2 blinds. Well, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Cute. Folding a 9 there. Don't know what it is you can call with. Just King X. Seems is going to peel to see a flop. So much money in the pot with the big blind ante. He flops second pair on 10-9-4. Checks it to Kevin. He does check it back, and I think more so should do against Alex because he does peel tightest from the blind, so therefore it is more weighted towards having connected with a 10-9 flop. Well, he is going to bet. Fine. And queen on the end. Alex gets unlucky in this one. We'll check, and Kevin now with a very clear value bet. Top pair, top kicker, 13 million in the pot. Alex weighted, well, towards a 9, and I was going to say this, here we go, I thought we might do this. He has a fair amount of Queen X, and look at this, a snap call from Alex, and it's over. That is it, Alex is out. He didn't expect, I think, Kevin to bet to check 10-9-4 with a hand, say like King Queen, Queen Jack. Didn't think he had enough queens there. That is why he check called so quickly. Surprising, because Alex had made so many folds. See him snap check call it off, but that is what he does. There he is. Alex Kolonias does bust out in fourth. He's been short all day, laddered up to $370,000. But his race is ran. Here we go, I like it. I say Francois is the man showing the most heart. And he does 3-bet, 23 million to play. Kevin looks at King Jack suited in the big. Yeah, he'd love to play this hand for the first raise. This raise may be a little small, out of position. And look at this. Here we go, the game has changed. Yanni with the 4-bet jam. Francois with the snap fold. Jack 9 in the small for Francois. He flops a pair of 9s and a gut shot draw. Kevin flops an open ender. 7 gets him a straight and queen for the chop. He does have backdoor hearts as well. This one a limped one, blind on blind. Kevin's going to bet when check 2. This will be a call, of course, for Francois, holding a pair and a straight draw. Four on the turn. Double flush draw. Francois checks, and Kevin going to fire another barrel here. Jack of hearts, such a good card to go bluffing with. And he's over pot, 25 million. What a call this is from Francois. Calls with just a pair of 9s. 5 on the river. He's going to check. And can Kevin fire a third barrel at this? 74 million chips in the pot. And he does give it up. Francois is going to win with a pair of 9s. He's going to limp in and try and see a flop. Francois behind on the big stack. He is happy to tap the table and C3 with King 7 off. King 5, 9. Both players flop a pair, but it is Francois with top pair. Yanni checks. Francois bets. 9 on the turn. It's the one card on the flop neither of them have. King 7. I think King 6, 7 and 8 are probably the best candidates to check back, as you do block those Straight draws. Yanni going to go for a tiny bit of value here. Value stroke block bet. Francois king 7 can't raise. Can only call. Further extends his lead once again on the final table. Okay, at long last, we are back from the longest 40-minute dinner break in history. We unfortunately only then start discussing a deal. Those deal discussions then went on for a very long time. So apologies to everyone, and thank you for staying with us if you have. I know it's late pretty much anywhere in the world you're watching. So thanks for staying with us. And there has been a deal. They did an ICM chop. But they have left $210,000 approximately to play for the winner. So, what that means is we have no ICM considerations anymore with this 3-handed play. Basically, they're playing a 3-man sit and go where first prize is, I say about $210,000. So, let's see how that affects play. Well, first hand back, Joni limps the small, Francois raises, Joni jams. Francois ace king in the small. He raises up from the small blind. Kevin with 9s in the big blind. This looks like an all in to me.
All in?
Well, he does just move it straight all in, and Francois will call. Francois the covering stack. Kevin the man at risk with pocket 9s. King, queen, a all spades. So Francois flops a pair, but Kevin has the flush draw.
For TV.
It's good for me.
9 or spade gets Kevin the double. Bricks mean it gets heads up between Francois and Joni. 10 on the turn. Just one card left. Francois, 3-1 favourite to take a big lead into the heads up. A spade. The deuce of spades on the end. Kevin with the full double up. He is now the chip leader of the Millions North America. Francois in the small blind. Jack 10 of hearts. He limps him. Kevin with ace-6, the same suit in the big blind. He's definitely happier to play small pots. Ace, king, deuce the flop. Francois has a gut shot straight draw. He's going to bet it, Kevin. Top pair will be calling. Bingo on the turn for Francois. Makes Broadway and checks it to Kevin.
Check.
He's happy to check back. Francois perhaps missing a step here. Especially when you don't block any of the pairs. And Francois checks again. Now Kevin going to value bet here and face a big check raise. I expect Kevin to bet quite big as well.
I don't think that was 12.
Okay, he's going up half, but it's going 12 million.
You need to give him the countdown, huh?
I don't think he reset it before.
Oh, okay.
That's well, just trying to work out how much to make this. He does have some bluffs, I guess, that bet the flop. I mean, shouldn't really be betting Queen Jack and Jack 10 and Queen 10 on this flop, but he did in this instance. So he could have. And the good thing going for him is that these players have loosened up so much. Kevin might just put him on complete air. Francois has been the craziest by far. He could have just stabbed this flop with 6-7 and got to the river and now decides to check raise it. Francois ace, 3 of diamonds on the button, raising up. Yanni defends jack 9 from the big. 10-7-3. Yanni flops a gut shot draw. Francois a pair and backdoor flush draw. Both players happy to see the turn. King gives Yanni another straight draw, queen or 8. Jack and 9 both still alive as well. Interesting to see if he wants to bet this draw. He does have so many draws on this texture. 12 into 22. Francois on this draw heavy board. Not going to fold his 3 just yet. 7 on the river. Francois' showdown hands are. There's check. Yanni missed. Francois wins. Back over 200 million in chips. Francois raising ace king on the button. Yanni moves all in with ace 4 and there's a snap call for Francois. Just like that, Yanni is at risk. Finland got the better of Canada earlier today in the hockey. Can Canada win at poker? 6-8-9. That spade in the door card was a bit worrying for Francois, but safe flop behind it. 9 on the turn. 8 or 6 would be a chop. 6 it is. Chop it up.
Fun.
Yanni 9 from the button with ace 5. Kevin peels 8-6 and we see ace 9-5. Top and bottom for Yanni. Gutter for Kevin. And with the 8 of hearts in his hand. Definitely somewhere a hand he's going to want to proceed with. But perhaps deciding Yanni's a little too shallow for those sort of antics. House for Yanni. He's going for a small sizing. Less than quarter. Unfortunately for him, Kevin has exactly the kind of hand that bet's designed to make fold. Onto our 8 million from the button. And it flops top pair on queen 9-5. Francois with the open and straight draw. $16 million. Big bet into 22. Yanni, of course, calling with his queen. So big bet on this kind of texture. Rainbow flop. And Francois coming out with another big bet. 42 million. That's really putting Yanni to the test. And he fails the test. Francois picks up the pot. When we return, we played 2.5 million, 5 million, and I can tell you that they have agreed to reduce the levels to 60 minutes after this break, and then 30 minutes when they get a heads up. So, Yanni with ace 7 in the small. It's 22 bigs. Wow, gets away. Not even put a chip in there. Francois calls 7-4 suited in the big. And that flop is all Francois. Second pair and a flush draw. He checks it to Kevin. He is going to stab at this one.
9 million.
9 million. Well, that is what he's going to try and do.
28 million.
Raise here and then bomb later street. Kevin, of course, with ace high, just going to have to let this one go. He limps. Kevin looks at king 10 off in the big.
Check. Heads up.
Ace 10 deuce. Kevin with a near lock on this one. Second pair top kicker.
12 million.
Francois taking a stab from the small. Gone big as well, 12 into 15. That's of course a call from Kevin, and this is a shutdown from Francois. You would think 4 of clubs on the turn does give him a 6 high flush draw, but it's a bit optimistic to keep barring this one.
Check.
Three of clubs on the end. Kevin with the second nut flush. Francois with, well, far from that.
Check.
He's going to play this as a check call.
Bet.
Lots of other hands more. 20 into 39. Definitely calling king high and queen high on the flop with the club. Hard to have jack X with the club. Does have some bottom pair that might turn into a bluff.
King high flush.
And the king high flush is going to take that down. Kevin up to 180, Francois down to 230. He comes in with a call this time from the small blind. Kevin will make way from the big blind with 7-3. King 5, 6. 2 diamonds. Francois with a rather tasty looking 8 of diamonds.
Check.
He checks to Yanni. Checks back 4 on the turn. Francois picks up a gut shot straight draw.
Bet. 22 million. Fold.
Francois bets the turn with his gut shot draw and makes the better hand fold. Francois from the button, Yanni from the big. 4-4-4. The last time the flop came trips, Yanni had queen high. Check folded to Francois' bet. Does make that call though. 3 on the turn. Yanni with just a pot size bet behind. Francois checks back. Jack on the end. I think Francois could find a bet here. It's gonna work. I mean, Yanni gonna jam most of his pairs pre, you'd suspect. Most of his ace-x pre. Doesn't have that many strong hands. Well, there we go. Francois feels a little sick seeing queen high win that one at showdown. Kevin raising the button, ace-3. Francois defending 7-4 from the big and flops a pair on queen 10-4. Kevin with backdoor spades. Kevin going to apply some pressure. Best 18 million. Cool. And hope for a 7-4 a heart. Otherwise we'd have to check folds any bet. 6 on the turn. Will Kevin find another big barrel? Waves the flag once more. 10 on the end. No, it's not. Francois going for tiny bit of value here. That's 1/3 pot on the river. There are a lot of missed draws you can have, but I think this is a little wide from Francois. I bet all this. You can bet. Well, it's not too wide. Look at this.
4.
Does get the call. 4 is good, and Kevin feels a little sick at that one.
All in.
Joni all in from the small with queen 6. Francois
Queen
makes
6
the call
with
in the
ace
big
jack.
with ace jack.
Yeah.
Joni at risk
Okay, Jack.
with the weaker hand. Although very live, as you see here, 38% chance of winning this pot. Eight, three, deuce.
We're missing the 4-5.
He only needs a
Four
queen
clubs,
or
maybe?
six.
Five
Picks up a club, backdoor club draw. Well, that is
That's
as
pretty-
good as colours they get for the sweaters.
Where's the swipe?
5 club, queen or 6. 7 on the end. Well, the local boy up to 380 million. Yoni out in third. Of course, that deal struck three-handed. They were playing for the win
guys.
here.
Thanks, man.
So he won more than the 475 it says there.
Small can be big.
We have reached the heads-up portion of the Millions North America. These are the two we are left with. The man who started the day as chip leader, Kevin Rabichow. He has 29 bigs, and he is playing against the man who has led for most of the day on this final table, Francois Billard. First hand, heads up, Francois limping in with 5s. Kevin with Queen Jack suited in the big. That's the point he's going to want to raise, and I suspect Francois is just going to move all in here.
All in.
There it is. So the first hand will go to Francois, up to 400 million in chips. Francois raising the button. Kevin defends Queen 9 in the big blind. Ace 7 8 off flop. Kevin checks it to Francois, who may bet this one with a gut shot. Does bet 3/4 pot, and it makes it very hard for Kevin to proceed with just Queen high, Queen of clubs, and a 9. Facing a raise here from Francois holding King Queen. Kevin with King 10. Should be cool and see this flop. Five, 5, 6. Check from Kevin over to Francois with the superior King high. Francois 6 million bet. Kevin gonna have a little look at the turn. Nine of diamonds gives Francois a much stronger hand. Does have the king high flush draw, but not a great card for him to see. Kevin continues with some of those straight draws. Now, a third 5 on the river. Expect this one's going to go check, check. Both would be happy to get that to showdown. Yeah. 15 blinds and a suited ace. There it goes, and Francois is going to call this with King Jack. And
King
just
Jack
like
on
that,
set.
Kevin is all in,
Oi.
at risk, but with the better hand. Queen 9 4. Francois with King Jack or 10. 4 on the turn. Francois' face says it all.
Anyway.
It is not. 9 on the end gives Kevin 2 pair with an ace kicker.
Francois.
Straight away, some real hands. Kevin Queen Jack on the button. Francois Ace King suited in the big.
12.
Kevin's going to raise. Francois is going to 3-bet. And playing 30 bigs deep, heads up. I'd like to see him go around about 40 million here. Anything over 35 is good. 40 million is the number chosen. So already these two involved in another big pot. Kevin with less than 2 times pot behind as we head to the flop. Just going to bet small, 25. Oh, Kevin with queen high, can't continue. Oh well, Kevin took a shot to win a big pot there. Hand after doubling. Kevin limps the button. Once more, going to raise it up from the big blind with king 10 of hearts. And I don't see Kevin calling this off his stack. And I am wrong. Does call. Kevin the heads up expert, so I'm going to change how I play. 10 million bet, quarter pot. Well, if Kevin's called pre with queen 8, he's going to call this flop with the queen and spades in hand. 7 of spades on the turn gives Kevin the flush draw. Francois checks. Can Kevin find a bet? Does he need to find a bet, does he think? And while the king of spades on the river, now he is good. He has the nut flush. Francois, a pair of kings. I don't think Francois can believe he's good here when he faces a bet. Especially for this sizing, 50 million.
50 million.
Nice fold from Francois. Kevin finally got something going here. Back up to 30 big blinds. Flat for Kevin from the button. Francois checks, jack 6 off in the big. And he flops top pair whilst Kevin flops a gut shot draw on jack 7-4. 8 million the bet. Francois with an easy call, of course, with top pair. Ace on the turn. Gets back a lot, but he is reaching for chips.
10 million.
He's betting 10 million. Not going to work against Jack X. A hand too strong to fold. Put a 4 in a tough spot. 50 million chip pot. Kevin with a gut shot. And there it is on the end. The Ginnis card in the deck for him. He's going for the overbet on the river. 70 million.
70 million.
That's a pretty tough spot for Francois. With a jack and a 6 blocker. Would have called the turn still with a 7 and maybe a 4, and he's found the fold. That's a good fold. Well, the cheers of K-Rab, little they know they were crying out for a call. So another 3-bet pot. We're heading to the flop. Queen 9-3. Things move in the way of Kevin. He flops top pair. Francois with second pair. Kevin is going to come up betting now 37 million. All of a sudden, monster pot. Kevin with less than pot bet behind, holding top pair and king kicker. And look at the size of the pot on his stack. If he wins this pot, he's going to be the new chip leader. Very draw heavy board. I think the play is all in, and that's the move he makes. And hands perhaps like king jack, king 10. 10-8's a great candidate here. How many of those hands does he 3-bet pre? King jack. If he's 3-betting king queen, he's probably betting king 10 is definitely possible. Doesn't get it. And a nice fold again from Francois. Dodges another one. And most of this final, Francois had the goods. The last 10 minutes, it's been Kevin who's had the hands. And he's now up to 270 million in chips. Kevin on the button.
Raise. Call.
Raising it up.
Call. Check. Check.
Kevin gonna check back. 5 on the turn gives him a gut shot draw, as it does Francois.
That's 7 million.
7 million a bit from Francois. I can't see Kevin calling this for 7-8 of hearts.
Call.
He does make the call. And Francois improves so straight on the end. Fortunately for him, he's going to get no action. Kevin, check this one back on the flop.
Take a bet. Fold. Re-raise. 35
Kevin
million.
getting frisky. 3-betting his 5-6 diamonds from the big. Francois will surely play this as a call. 3-bet sizing a little smaller now. Interestingly going just below 3x.
Call.
King.
Check.
Ace on the turn. Francois now takes the lead.
Check.
And Francois is going to be happy to check this one back. He's kind of spot against a 3-bet pre. He's either miles ahead or comfortably behind here. Obviously doesn't want to give a free card in case that happens.
Check.
Kevin checks, goes check, check.
6.
6, no good. Once again, Francois regains his lead up to 320 million. Kevin makes it 12 on the button. Francois peeling out another 3-bet. This time 10-9 off. This time to 42 million. Once more, Kevin has a pretty reasonable hand to take a flop with. Kevin does call, and we see King 8-9. Second pair for Francois. Open-ended straight draw for Kevin. Canadian, the pre-flop aggressor. Bets 26 million. Don't forget, the clock says Kevin, it is on him. And I expect he's going to call this one. No, he's not going to fold it. Doesn't have a lot of hands he wants to raise on King 8-9, so just call with Jack 10. 10 on the turn. Well, 2 pair for Francois. Open-ended, straight draw, and a pair for Kevin.
All in.
He's going for all of it.
All in.
130. Sorry, 217 the bet. 168 is Kevin's stack. 136 was the pot. This a little over pot jam. Francois pair and a straight draw. Well, here you go. Kevin does make the call. And sees he is up against 2 pair. He can still win though. With the straight. Or a king to counterfeit the pairs. King, queen, jack or 7. We're just 1 card away from finding out. 6 on the end. It is Canada. And the celebrations say it all. It is the local man. Francois Billard is the Millions North American main event champion. And as the local boy, he has the largest rail. And well, what a feat it's been. What a final table it's been. Francois was all in yesterday with just 1 card to come. Needed to find a queen on the end to double up, and he did. And look at that face. It says it all. This man, I'm sure, will be giving it his best to go back to back.